Well, and hello and good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Greetings to you to anywhere you are in the world. We was just talking how diverse our little group here is. She is in Thailand. Myself, I'm right now in Latvia. We have got people from Poland, Germany, UK, Australia, America, everywhere really. So yeah, my name is Eugenia Liberty, and I am a co-founder of Academy of Conscious Sexuality, an international pleasure and intimacy coach, and co-creator of the Orgasmic Queen. And here's my colleague, Sia.
Hello everybody, I'm CID, and I'm a sacred sexuality coach, and I'm really glad to be here and sharing one of my most orgasmic topics, which is orgasm.
Yeah.
Probably least unknown world to many women, mostly speaking, because it's so much easier for men to have an orgasm, but for women is a topic that is, for many, not for everybody, but for many, is less explored. So it's going to be very fun diving deep into that, understanding about our sexual energy and different types of orgasms, and how we use different techniques or methods to amplify the pleasure of orgasm. So
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And indeed, we have a really juicy topic today, orgasms. And the name of the course is the Orgasmic Queen. And the whole point of this course is for us to take women on a journey, because it's like our female sexuality have been so suppressed. And I'm not like trying to disregard men, because men do go through their experience, and but here we are focusing purely on a female sexuality, because this is that myself and Sia find our passion, that we want to create love, full of pleasure. And the pleasure starts with women, because, you know, we have a womb, we carry children, we experience things in our pleasure, and we've been suppressed for so long that it's time to break free. We've burned on fires, we've been like criticized, and like all kinds of things was happening. And finally I feel that we are in the era of claiming back our sexuality. We are in the era of awakening and finally taking ownership of our bodies, and that it's okay to experience pleasure, that it's okay to feel joy, that it's okay to host our beauty and our self-expression through our body. And this is why the Orgasmic Queen was born, because we both experience so much pleasure and gratitude to women, for women, and I want to share our knowledge with you. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking this course. And we are really, really, really looking forward to host this session, as well as we have a level 2 coming up too. And we're going to tell you a bit more about that right at the end of this session. So our intention today is to stay on time, which is like an hour and a half from now. So at the end, we're going to be taking some questions. So make sure you ask anything you have a questions for. We would love to answer your questions. Right. Okay. So do you have anything to add here?
No, everything is great. So I'd say let's bring the PDF up. And
beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, indeed. Let's bring the PDF up. Okay, let me just bring it to the beginning and share my screen. And here we are. Fabulous. Can you see the PDF?
Yes.
Fantastic. Here we are, the Orgasmic Queen, week 4, orgasms. And in fact, I just want to tell you a little bit about this explosion underneath the orgasms. And the orgasms is something, in my experience, that doesn't have particular shape or color or texture, that it always changes. So there is no orgasm is the same. There is all orgasms. They can be more grounded. They can be much higher and much wilder. They can be very thick. They can be very thin and light. You know, there is no particular shape or color, or like it just doesn't happen the same. So this is the meaning behind this explosion of all kinds of colors at the same time. All kinds of textures at the same time. So just to give you a little bit of like a visual sense of how the orgasm, like how we envision orgasm anyway. So here we are. What are orgasms? Sia, would you like to take over from here?
Oh. So we're gonna start with a little bit of like nerdy stuff. You can see the orgasm, the origin is coming from the word orgasmos, which means to swell with moisture, to be excited or eager. And there have been many in a recent time, because sexuality has been really, really suppressed, and maybe around 40, 50 years ago, then some people have started actually exploring the sexuality. And as you can see here again, the zenith of sexual erotic experience that men and women characterize subjectively as voluptuous rapture or ecstasy. It occurs simultaneously in the brain, mind, and the pelvic genitalia, respective of its locus of onset. The occurrence of orgasm is contingent upon reciprocal intercommunication between neural networks in the brain above and the pelvic genitalia below, and it does not survive the disconnection by the severance of the spinal cord. However, it is able to survive even extensive trauma at either end. So basically, what is saying in deeply scientific and difficult paragraph is like it happens in the body and in the mind. And there has been a lot of people who had a spinal cord injury, and they still could experience orgasm in the brain, because everything basically takes place ultimately in the brain, and we experience everything in our head. But what, beside this very scientific explanation, an orgasm is, in a more simple term, is a build-up of pleasurable bodily sensation and excitement to a peak intensity, and that then releases tension and creates a feeling of satisfaction and relaxation. So if you have ever experienced an orgasm, the thing is, as they say, maybe around 17% of people or women, they never get to experience orgasm, which is, I believe, not acceptable. But if you had an orgasm, you will know that it's when a stimulation takes place in the body, can be genitalia or can be any erogenous zone in someone's body. And we already explored that the woman's entire body is erogenous. So basically every part of the woman or a male body is capable of having orgasm. But the pattern is the same, is a build-up of pleasure and sexual energy. If you're having, say, for example, clitoral orgasm, you're stimulating your clitoris, or a lover stimulating your clitoris, you feel that this energy is building up, and it's building up and building up and building up and building up. It keeps rising till it reaches a peak. And then if the stimulation carries on, there is a release, and that release is very pleasurable and brings a sense of relaxation and satisfaction after that. So this is basically the mechanic of orgasm. But again, for instance, if an orgasm happens in the neck, again, as I said, the same principle applies. It just like builds up sensation, and then is release. And sometimes we get like the shivers. That also feels like an orgasm, because you see, like you get goosebumps from it, and this release is very, very pleasurable.
That's right. And as you remember that we was talking in a week 1 also that when you stimulate, your nipples, you can have like a nipple orgasm. So you can have like that it activates the certain part of your brain that you can actually experience pleasure. That is connected to your pussy, and that is connected to your different parts of your body. But our erotic places on our body are connected to the pleasure points in our brain. So this is how our body and our mind and our spirit is so connected. Right. The next thing. Do men and women experience orgasms the same way? Ladies, let us know, what do you think in the comments?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think men and women experience orgasm the same way?
So just type yes if you think that yes, and type no if you think that it's a no. Let's see. Oh,
Michelle says no. No. Okay. So, I don't really know. I'm just a woman. Yes. That was probably the most correct answer out of all of them. Because
can you read it out loud, please, Siam?
What's that?
Can you read this out loud, the answers?
Yes. No, I don't really know. I'm just a woman, Anya said. The thing is, we never know, because unless we get to live in 2 different bodies, a male body and a female body, we never know for sure. However, there have been studies or surveys that they ask write down like men and women in the group, and they ask them write down the experience of orgasm, without specifying the gender, so nobody knew which a male or female is writing it down. But at the end of it, when they collected all the answers, basically most of them were saying the similar thing, that build up sexual energy in the genitalia, which follows by a release. It's a pleasure release, and involuntary contractions of pelvic floor muscles, and the whole sex center, which is radiates waves of pleasure in the body. However, I would say, again, to as much as I've experienced and I've explored and talked to different men and women about this, for majority of men, orgasm mainly takes place very similar to a clitoral orgasm for women, which is more localized. When women have an orgasm, when they explain to me or when I ask around, and they say, okay, the buildup of pleasure, Eugenia can talk more about that, and then the release happens on the genital area, more localized.
Right.
Whether vaginal orgasm or cervix orgasm or cervical orgasm or G-spot orgasm, or when a woman squirts, it's more like a full body orgasm. So the waves move through the whole entire body. With that said, when again, this is I'm talking about like just a normal woman and normal guy. However, also for men, when they practice to really surrender their body. They get in touch with their body. They get in touch with the sensations. The orgasm can also expand beyond genitals. So I can speak for myself. Not all the time, but many times, when I reach an orgasm and I'm really like present with it, and I'm really like allowing my body to feel, I also feel the waves moving through my body. But I think for men in general, they require much more practice to be able to allow their body to be more sensitive to these waves. But women, because they feel they're more capable of feeling, they're more in the body, they experience orgasms, I think, in a full body more than men. But
Right.
the experience is the same.
Right. So I can tell you that I'm teaching this practice called the orgasmic meditation. And basically orgasm has been studied a lot, and all of the goodness that comes from that. So basically what happens when you are exposed to this undeniable intimacy between two partners, and your body sinks in with one another after 6 minutes. So it's like your body synchronizes. So you actually are joining the same experience. You co-creating same experience. And I'm not talking when it's like when men and women just have a quickie, and it's like he's in his head, she's in like thinking about dinner. I'm not talking about this kind of experience. I'm talking about the experience where people are actually open to intimacy and to experience intimacy. So what happens after 6 minutes, people's bodies sinking in so that they are co-creating the same journey. And basically the physical sensations occur in two bodies simultaneously. So yeah, it's like the build-up, the release, it all happens, but also the sensations when the true intimacy is present for both people involved, or more, I don't know, like what your sexual preferences are, your bodies sync up together. And this is what makes the experience an orgasm even more powerful. Right. Shall we move forward? Beautiful. Right. Different types of orgasms. Sia, would you like to take it away?
Again, we taking a little bit too more like a scientific way, but you can always read these. What these different types of orgasm? So, as I explained before, basically the woman's entire body is erogenous and is capable of having orgasm. But what is happening here is, as you can see, like the clitoris, we have different main erogenous zone, which is the clitoris, vagina, which is all the A spot and deep spot, uterus, cervix, and perigenital skin, which is the skin's around the yoni, so they're all connected through different nerves to the brain. Some of them are like they overlap, and what is happening is when for example, when your clitoris is being stimulated, a different pathway through your body gets like fired up, and the pleasure that you experience in your body is different than when your say your A spot is being stimulated. So and that's why if you ever get to experience different like if you had a clitoral orgasm, and if you had a vaginal orgasm, if you had a squirting orgasm, if you had a deep spot orgasm, if you had a PS spot orgasm, all these areas, or you had a nipple orgasm, the mechanic are the same, but the sensations are different. Because each nerve fires up differently.
Mm.
And what is very interesting is that we can understand like each, this is how I explain it, that each part of the body is like an instrument. So say your clitoris, the sensation that if your clitoris being played is like piano, and your A spot is like violin, and your deep spot say is like saxophone. So all on its own, you can just listen to a piano for an hour and it's beautiful. You can listen to violin on its own for an hour and it's also beautiful. But at the same time, you can have a symphony. You can have concert that piano and violin and jazz and flute and everything is happening at the same time. So like I call it the combo orgasm, or combo orgasms, which say you, and a lot of women can experience that when they have those toys that dildo that goes in, and at the same time it has a little like a bunny ear, and it stimulates the clitoris. So they experience like, oh, this orgasm is a bit different. It's two pathways are firing up simultaneously.
Yeah. And
the sensations can be completely different. So the beauty of that is that's what even for men, like when a man, which we're going to cover more about that in level 2, but at the same time, if his tip of his penis is being stimulated, and at the same time his scrotum or his balls are being, or the skin are being touched, and also if his perineum or his prostate being touched, the sensations of orgasm are completely different. So you can have clitoral orgasm, you can have A-spot orgasm, you can have deep spot orgasm, and if your A-spot, for instance, is being touched, and then your clitoris simultaneously being, say, licked or touched or played with, so you would have a different type of orgasm. So if your deep spot is being stimulated and your clitoris at the same time, so you would have a different, not, I wouldn't say it's completely entirely different, but it's different. Yeah. And I've surveyed this from so many women, and again, every woman is different. So this is the basis of our understanding that not two women like finger what do you call it?
Fingerprints.
Everybody's different. So, but generally speaking, when you combine the stimulations, you will get a bigger and more profound orgasm. So, as one tip, when you're with another, say you are you're in, say, in a missionary position, and he's on top, and he's inside you with his penis. So he's moving in and out and moving in and out. So with that, while that is happening, so your G spot and your A spot and some other spots in the yoni or in the vagina is being touched and played with and stimulated. So at the same time, if you can, that's something a lot of people don't usually do. But if you do this at the same time, if you use your own hand or tell your lover to touch your play with the clitoris while he's penetrating with his penis, then you would have a lot more pleasure, a lot more sensations. Because again, as we said in the first week, it's the whole erectile network is an interconnected network. Yeah. So now this part is firing up, and then as soon as you touch your clitoris, these parts are being fired up. So everything is firing up at the same time, and it can at the moment, at some stage, it can be overwhelming. But if you approach it really slowly and say playing with the clitoris very gently to start with, things can be very, very pleasurable. So, yeah. And make sure if you want to touch a clitoris, or if you want to love him to touch a clitoris, make sure to use some lube, oil, or just lick your finger, make it all sexy and dirty, and just
make it very moist.
Moist. Yeah. Sexiest words, but yeah.
Yeah, I love moist. Multiple orgasms, true or a myth? Ladies, what do you think? Is it a true or a myth? Just type into the comment box. What do you think? Okay.
True. Yeah, Michelle says true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else?
All right. I think yeah, we can carry on. Yeah, multiple orgasm are true.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, but the thing is, what is multiple orgasms? A lot of people, or women and men, asking multiple orgasms. Eugenia, would you please?
Sure. Well, in my experience, multiple orgasms is the ability to experience orgasm one after the other. It's like when one finishes, like more than one orgasm in one session of making love.
Yes.
So that is multiple orgasms. And I can tell you personally, probably my highest number of orgasms in one session was 24. This is where I could still count because I couldn't walk afterwards. And yeah, it's actually never ever happened ever again. Like not to this state. I can reach the multiple orgasmic state quite easy, but again, it takes me uh, to be very comfortable with a partner, right? So again, it's all based on trust. It's all based on me feeling safe. Basically everything that we have teach you in this course, this is what it takes to have these multiple orgasms. It's like knowing yourself, knowing your boundaries, knowing how to say what you want, and then cultivating this orgasmic energy and actually keep going, like allowing yourself to experience that.
Yes. So yeah, what about multiple orgasm is this is the next thing is the orgasmic state.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we understand about what orgasmic state is, we can understand more about the multiple orgasms.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening? What's the difference between a man and a woman's body?
Mm-hmm.
Is, as we all know, when a man comes, he goes like, "Ooh, whoop." So he's out. And his age and his testosterone level, it takes him between maybe say a few minutes, maybe up to a year, for him to be able to do it again. Actually, now because of thanks to Viagra, people can do it maybe more often. But basically, when a man ejaculates, he enters a phase which is called the refractory phase. So in that phase, his energy, his sexual energy drops. He feels not super sexual anymore, and that's what a lot of women feel a bit weird when a man comes and they feel disconnected from him. But
Like,
that is something.
how dare you?
Something's happening biologically in men, that the sexual energy drops, and if they're not conscious of that, and if they're not really in touch with their bodies and in touch with the understanding of what women want, they will probably roll over and sleep. And then if it happens to you or happened in the past, or hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it happens, understand that that man has become the victim of his biology. He doesn't really he's not being a bad person. His body goes, and if he doesn't know what women want, unless you tell him what you want, then he wouldn't know. He just feels disconnected. However, for women, it's a little bit different, or it's a lot different. When a woman has an orgasm, regardless of what type of orgasm, I'm going to get into a little bit later, she doesn't enter refractory phase, because so when you get aroused, or when we get aroused, the blood enters our genitals. But as we covered in the first week, there is this like valve that doesn't allow the blood to come out, so it stays engorged, or it stays hard. And when a man ejaculates, it opens and everything comes out. All the blood rushes out of the genitals, and that's why they go whoop. But for a woman, it doesn't happen, and the blood stays in there, stays in the genitals. And again, generally speaking, most women, as when they have the orgasm, they when this the orgasm takes place in the body, they enter the orgasmic state,
Yeah.
which they go to a point that the sexual arousal, which I'm going to cover in the next page or page after, the sexual arousal stays really up. Again, it drops a little bit. The arousal might drop, but again, sexual energy deepens. But again, they can also, again, with a little bit of touch and stimulation, we can reach the peak again and have another orgasm, and reach peak and have another orgasm.
Yeah.
I just want to add that you can add to this. And the thing is, most women, when they have clitoral orgasm, if you had a clitoral orgasm, the clitoris, because it's very similar to male penis, also you might feel to some extent your clitoris goes to the refractory phase because it becomes overly sensitive to touch. So the clitoris might need some time to just like
recover.
Again, it depends. Like some women, no, they can just carry on and carry on and carry on and carry on and carry on, and some women, after the clitoral orgasm, they need some time because they become overly sensitive. But again, if the clitoral orgasm takes place, vaginal orgasm can continue.
Yeah.
So this is
and basically what happens, orgasm gets you in the it turns you on. And there's like even song, Nina Simone sings, the more I get, the more I want, the more I get, the more I want. And it's like, it's so true about the orgasms. As soon as you have one, like me personally, for sure, like I want more, I don't want to stop. I'm like, all my greed comes up, and it's like, I'm just greedy, I don't want this like amazing feeling to stop, to end. I keep on wanting more of that. And this orgasmic state, basically, it's a state of turn on when all of your body is so awake, your mind is so agile, you are just so connected, you just feel everything what's happening around you, your senses are heightened. And this is the orgasmic state that it's like absolutely incredible and super, and it's healing also for your body and for your mind.
Yes. And then this is the thing, and with the orgasm, it's because it's the release of energy. It's when you understand how to actually move this energy and how to guide it, things can go really crazy. And we're gonna talk about that in much in a level 2. And like sex magic is also something that we're gonna cover. And understanding about, okay, how can I actually, because this energy buildup of energy is like sexual energy is the most creative energy in the world. Life comes out of it. And when we understand, okay, at the moment I'm having an orgasm, I can use this creative energy to manifest or to bring in, to call in whatever I want. It becomes like a really powerful ritual, which people know it as sex magic, which we cover in our energy week in level 2. But and also, again, when you have this, when you go to this state, you completely in an altered state of consciousness, and a lot of things in your body changes. And you know that, as Eugenia said, you're not sober, you completely feel timelessness, and, your pleasure receptors amplify and your pain receptors go down. So as just a trick, every time you have pain or headache, do some self-pleasure, your headache will go away.
Have some water. And in fact, I have some water and have some pleasure. And this is actually what I used to use before. Every time when I would get a cold, I would I would just have sex, and I would be like, this is so good. And the cold would just leave. It just would go. Yeah. But again, have a pleasant sex, not just like any kind of like sex, but
pleasure. Pleasure is the best way.
Mm. Right. Okay. I'm just aware of the time, so let's keep on moving a little bit faster here.
Okay,
So,
how long does it take to reach an orgasm? It depends on the person, on your different states. We can take between, I don't know, maybe if you're really lucky, 1 second, up to an hour or maybe more. So, and then how long does an orgasm last? Again, that also varies, but something between 8 to 15 seconds. Sometimes the people say like up to 20 seconds, and some people in the tantra community, they say it lasts a whole day, and sometimes
mm,
it lasts. So it's all just about understanding, just feeling how the body free the body is.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And the more you start allowing yourself to orgasm and experience pleasure, the deeper you get into understanding your own body and how does it work, and the quicker you are able to reach the orgasmic state. And also it all depends like how long it's gonna take you to reach an orgasm, and also how long the orgasm lasts, because there are some orgasms that they can last for quite a while. And again, the more you allow yourself to experience pleasure, to actually connect with self, connect with your partner, with your lover, the more you will be able to explore the orgasmic state and actually how to deepen your orgasms.
so there's this one thing about the orgasm that is very interesting. You can go to the next page, darling.
Mm-hmm.
The less, this is a little bit different to the normal saying, you seek and you shall receive. With orgasm is the opposite. The more you seek, the less likely you're going to have orgasm.
Yeah.
Seek an orgasm, you're going to be in the mind.
Yeah.
And again, these are, we're going to, with awareness and being present, we cover next course. But so the thing is, the personally experienced when or people, my clients that I talk to, the thing is like a lot of women feel obligated to have an orgasm because first of all, they feel when they're receiving, they worry that they're taking so much time. And as we're talking with the wheel of consent, they fall into the acceptance or the receiving, and the partner goes into the serving. And the problem, as with the receiver, a lot of people might think, okay, I'm taking too much time, and he's gonna get bored, he's gonna get tired. I should orgasm because of him, and all of that. So the more you get stuck here, less likely you will have an orgasm. And it works exactly opposite for men, interestingly. When a man is constantly in his head and he's stressed and he's like, the more likely he's going to come quickly. So he's going to have like a premature ejaculation. But for women, when they get stressed and in the head, the orgasm not going to happen. So the key to having more orgasms is actually letting go of the desire of having an orgasm while it's happening. So the more you push it away, and the more you can relax to it, which we're going to talk about how to have bigger orgasms, the more likely it is for you to experience it. And also, the best way is this poor guy, yes, that is coming down and he's trying to explore your yoni. Yoni is a very complicated universe, or the yoniverse is a very complicated world. Different dimension. We have no clue. Seriously, I personally have no clue. But because of I understand about the external awareness, I understand to listen to the body and all that. So I'm trying to find my way, but I'm still, I don't know, like if every time I meet a woman or the same lover every time, it's completely different journey. I don't know. I have no clue what you want. But the thing, you should know what you want. And you need to be able to guide your lover to tell him how to touch you. And then the way you communicate with that is with your breathing and with your sounds you make. You telling him, oh yeah, that's good. Because if, for example, for a lot of people, when women are receiving pleasure, they just lie there and be quiet. And the poor man doesn't know what he's doing, and he's trying to measure out you like it or not. So the best way is to tell him where to touch, how to touch, and then when he's doing his best serving you, give him feedback by yes, that's it, or just breathing, or making sound and moving your body. So this poor gentleman, okay, I'm doing something so we can carry on.
Yeah.
And be quiet. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh.
So you need to guide us, men or women or your partner, doesn't matter, like you guide us.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that piece because it's very important. And again, this is basically the orgasm chart. As you can see, for the orgasm to take place, this is your sexual arousal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at the bottom, you're sitting having a cup of coffee, nothing is happening, and then slowly you see your lover, or he or she comes towards you, and you're like, oh, hello, and the sexual arousal slowly goes up, and then he's like, or she's like, okay, let's kiss a little bit. You're kissing, and then things get a bit wilder, and your partner goes down or give you beautiful oral sex, and as you're being stimulated, your sexual arousal slowly goes up, and you get to a point which is called the point of no return. This is the point that you know, okay, now I'm gonna come. You haven't come yet, but you know, okay, this is the point, and I'm right there. So that's the point of no return. And when you reach the peak, then your sexual arousal will drop. But this is when the release takes place.
Mm-hmm.
And for men, that from that point there is nothing there. For the men, it goes down and it turns into like a bell shape.
Yeah.
And for women, from here it goes back, goes maybe just constant,
Mm-hmm.
or with continuous stimulation, it stays up, goes up again. And the thing is about what women body is, when you reach a high peak of arousal, even if you can stop complete stimulation, stop it, your body will stay aroused for 10-15 minutes or so. So you're not going to lose your orgasmic state like men. They drop. You will still feel like, That's why when you have an orgasm,
Give me more.
Or when you finish it, tell your lover to stay with you, because your body's still feeling that. There. And it's very good to communicate, and a lot of time people are like, oh, he just stayed and he left, because maybe you never asked him to stay. So communicate these things, and it's very important to, after especially when you have an orgasm, be close to the person.
Yeah.
Because your body is filled with the endorphins and oxytocin, all of that, and dopamine. So it's very good to stay connected.
That's right. Our limbic connection needs to be nurtured. Otherwise, our abandonment issues can be triggered so easily. And the abandonment issues is a real thing.
Yes, but again, that would be a part of like the shadow work to actually work on those. But that's completely different whole maybe course. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of shadow work here. That's my favorite new topic.
Beautiful.
So to just make it a little bit more understandable and go through things, we changed that curvy thing into like a more linear graph. So as you can see here, so if you think about your 0 is when you're like completely on state of arousal, and 100 is the peak of your arousal when the orgasm takes place. Is on the graph 1. And in graph 2, as you can see, the area underneath the line, so I took the second line, the descending line out. So as you see, your arousal goes up and up and up and up and up. And underneath this line, that area, again, this is something that me and Eugenia have come up with. To me, makes sense when I explain it, when I teach it like this, that the area underneath this line is the total sexual energy that you have accumulated. So having a bigger orgasm, you want this area to be bigger. So you want to accumulate more sexual energy. So the more sexual energy you have, your release or your explosion gonna be bigger. So think about your orgasm as dynamite or an explosive, like in cartoons, and the dynamite and everything goes up. So the more dynamite means the more sexual energy, and the more sexual energy means the bigger the bang. So you can have one small tiny dynamite goes like pooh. You can have an atomic bomb that goes like then when you have an orgasm, you're probably gonna shift the axis of the earth. So the most quick ones, again, if you see the graph 3, you can reach your peak, and the left line, the vertical line, is your sexual arousal, and the horizontal line is basically time and stimuli is by time. So this is the thing I haven't experienced, but I heard from many women they have these, sometimes it is quick clitoral orgasm that they just, you can just, only you know it how to do it. And you have like maybe like few seconds of a stimulation or 30 seconds of a stimulation, and like boom, you like shoot one orgasm out.
Yeah, it's like quick release.
So those ones are very like, because there is not much time, or there wasn't much of a build-up of sexual energy. So the arousal can reach 100 regardless of how much sexual energy you have accumulated. Mm-hmm. So you can go up quickly, the release is gonna be quick, and it's gonna be like that. It's gonna smile a little dynamite. So on a graph 4, as you can see, so that the more time you spend to build up from 0 to 100, the more area you have, so the more sexual energy you can accumulate. So when you reach the peak, your orgasm is going to be bigger. So that is the most simplest test, I don't even know that word exists, of having bigger orgasm, when you spend more time building up your sexual energy. So foreplay, which is actually core play, I don't like to use the word foreplay anymore because people think it's something separate to sex. That as soon as the penis goes to the vagina, that's when sex happens. No. So the more you spend time, and the more you dance, the more you kiss, the more you caress, the more you play, and then the more you slowly, and even doing the genital touch, all that slowly, without the need to, you have to forget about the orgasm and just playing with the person in front of you or next to you or people around you, whatever you do, and then slowly allow this to come up, and when eventually it reaches the 100, you have more sexual energy to release. So that's one of the most simplest ways.
Beautiful.
And now in graph 5, this is something I came up with. And I realized most of again, when I was studying all this when I was younger, I realized everybody talks about this graph as a 2D graph, that what we saw in the previous page. It has a vertical, like an X and Y axis, but I believe there is another axis, which is like a Z axis, and I call it the depth of sexual energy. So basically, this sexual energy or your arousal can go up. And again, as I said, that regardless of how much sexual energy you have accumulated, as soon as you reach 100, the orgasm is going to take place. So now, one way to increase it is by time. And the another way to increase it by understanding there's actually another axis called the depth of sexual energy. And by doing different things, we can go deeper. And the slower that we are, and the more we move deeper, then you can imagine how much of sexual energy we can accumulate in our bodies. Again, this is regardless of the gender, male and female. So, as you can see in the graph 6, the sexual energy can go up, and the depth of sexual energy can go deeper, and the whole this 3D image that designed. I'm pretty sure you can express what is happening here. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the surface, it's the whole area, the inside as well. You can see it's like a 3D, like a pyramid. I don't know what's the English name for this thing is, but it's a 3D, and the whole area underneath inside is your total of your sexual energy. And you can extend it, as you can see in graph 7. You can go as deep, and this never ends. So you can reach 100, and that's it. But the other graph, the depth of sexual energy, is unlimited. So you can allow it to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, while your sexual arousal goes up and your sexual energy goes deeper. So you have accumulating more energy, more energy, and more energy, and more energy, and more energy. And then you can actually sometimes stop and lower the sexual arousal while you're deepening the sexual energy. Ooh, it goes deeper, deeper, you can come up, and then you keep adding. And the moment the orgasm takes place, God bless your neighbors.
Oh, yes. God bless your neighbors, right?
Can you clarify what you mean by going deeper or moving deeper? So by deeper, what I'm saying is, so the depth of sexual energy. So when we talk about how to go deep, how to add more sexual energy, you will understand. But by deeper, I'm saying, so you're building sexual energy. Yeah, so you're becoming more and more aroused, and you feel that the stimulation is taking place. And but before you reach an orgasm, so if this buildup of sexual energy is by, again, the techniques that we're going to talk about next, you can, because, so this is how it works. This is how I see it. So when you have the genital stimulation, so you're having a clitoral stimulation, or say A spot, sexual energy builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, it explodes. So when you learn or practice to, as this energy builds up, builds up, builds up, instead of just, you know those what do you call it in English? Fast cooker?
A slow cooker.
Slow cooker. That actually, the ones that makes it actually fast, but it's called slow cooker. But it's like, the pressure is like builds up.
Pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker. So it's like the pressure cooker. So it goes and it. So we don't want this to build up to be like that. So we want this energy to move in our body. So if the buildup of energy is like really like just on your genitals, when you learn to move this energy to the side, to around your body, so the depth of your sexual energy goes deeper. So it is not going to push everything up to the 100 to explode. It moves it deeper. If you visualize that, instead of this it goes up and then goes deep. So it means by deeper, I'm saying you accumulating more sexual energy before you jump and reach the 100.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when you reach the 100, your sexual energy gonna go even more by deeper. I'm saying, because it's like the 3D, I'm talking about going deeper into that direction. But I'm saying like you're having more sexual energy. So when you reach an orgasm, your sexual energy go like adds more. That's why you can have the next orgasm when you reach the 100 again. Your second orgasm can be bigger. And then you allow it to take a little bit of time. Your sexual energy want to go deeper, so you're gonna have more. And then your next orgasm can be even bigger, and even bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger. So it keeps going. The sexual energy keeps building in your body. It keeps building in your body. But we need to practice to move it around instead of leave it to be localized in your genitals.
So I'd like to add something to that.
More.
So you see how here you have got this graph here. So basically what happens, like instead of, like when you build your sexual energy here on this line and allowing it to go to peak, basically what happens when you catch yourself just before the point of no return, so that it doesn't release, like you don't release with orgasm, but actually you slow down and take a deep breath.
Next page with all the technique. We're gonna cover that in next page and how to deepen that.
Right. Yeah. So basically, what I'm talking about is the deepening the orgasm.
Yes.
So you are creating not like just peak and that's it. But what you doing also, you slowing down and taking a breath, allowing all of that energy to move in your body. So it's like not just like on one place, but it spreads around, so you can feel it in all of your body. Like actually you deepening your experience, that you feeling more and you're experiencing more. So this is deepening your orgasm. This is what it means, that you feeling more. Your feeling is more expansive. You can feel it in more in your body more. You are not feeling it only in one place and then just move. You can experience it in all over your body.
Yes. We cover all the techniques.
Mm-hmm. Does this answer your question?
Everybody's clear, actually. Can everybody understood what we're talking about with the sexual energy? So again, sexual energy is different to your arousal.
Mm-hmm.
I differentiate it. I differentiate within the arousal. So again, arousal is when your arousal goes to the roof, you have an orgasm. That we said you can have a really quick one,
Mm-hmm.
or you can have a really big release. So your release, the intensity of your orgasm is not related on your 100, because you get to reach 100 and you have an orgasm. So the quality or intensity of your orgasm depends on how much sexual energy you have accumulated for your release. It makes sense? I think it makes sense.
Mm. So ladies, if you can just comment in the comment box.
Because it's like but if everybody can please, if you understood it, say yes, and if you know, say no, so we can carry on. If you're sitting still with us, if you engage a bit quicker with us, please. So we can
that would help us to actually identify where you are on the map of understanding.
Yes.
Is that a yes? I cannot see from when I'm sharing the screen.
That's okay. Edwina said yes. Michelle said yes. Maybe some of the participants are not actually sitting behind a computer right now. So we can move on to the next page.
Okay, great.
All right.
Emotional, physical, and mental arousal. So this is actually something that for us, especially for us women, is really, really important. That we not only physically aroused, but we are mentally aroused and we are emotionally aroused. And when all of these three components are together, that this is the recipe for absolutely incredible experience. Because when one of these arousal aspects is missing, then actually something is missing from our experience. And just let me know if you know what is like, if you can relate to what is emotional, physical, and mental arousal. Does this make sense to you?
So just one second, because Lynette says kind of between 0, 5, 4. So which part you are not sure? Maybe we can get to it at the end. Should we do it at the end?
What is that?
So Lynette wrote kinda.
Kind of what?
I said if she was it clear for her. She's saying kinda between 0, 5, 4.
Is it
like maybe 80%? Is that what I think she's trying to say?
Is this about emotion? Which part is unclear?
The previous parts about the orgasms.
Okay, so let's move back.
Yeah.
Right. So Lynette, which part is unclear for you? Let's refer back to that.
She's just typing now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it is important for us, for you to get full understanding of this. Mm.
So just while she's typing about the emotional and physical arousal, I just wanted to add something that is for a lot of women. Again, it's a bit unknown. I'm wet. Should I be horny? I'm horny. I'm not wet. So your wetness has got nothing to do with your willingness to have sex or to be aroused, and also your level of arousal has got to do with it, but it's not definitely to do with your wetness. So if sometimes people are like, oh, I'm really wet but I'm not aroused, if you just put maybe just if you sit on something that is just attached, is just touching your yoni gonna get wet, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be aroused or you're gonna be horny. You don't want to have sex because the body feels like, okay, now it's just something's there, and I'm gonna be wet. Or you might just watch a scene that, I don't know, like they had this test that women, like they show them like monkeys having sex, and the body reacted. The body got aroused in a sense, like the vaginal kind of got lubricated, but they weren't horny. So sometimes if they take place, or if you're really horny and your body you're not wet yet, it's okay. Don't assume that there's something wrong or you have to do something. Sometimes they happen simultaneously, and sometimes they don't. So they all are okay. Okay, so she's typing just the end part about the orgasm getting deep. Okay, if you go back, please. Eugenia, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to finish explaining this before we gonna go back?
Okay. So now with the emotional arousal and physical arousal and mental arousal, again, one of the misconceptions in the world that is like we just want to bring so awareness to it, and know that it is okay, so you can communicate that to your partner or partners, that to have sex, men, they just, most men, again, can't generalize for all men, when they become physically aroused, they're okay with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care necessarily what is happening. He's hard, he's ready to go. But for women, it's the at least emotional and physical level needs to be really present. And for emotional level, for that to be present means that you have to feel safe. So you need to feel like drawn. You need to feel like, I'm feeling it in my body. And then for that, then the physical arousal comes, okay, now, then the stimulation is happening, and my body is getting slowly into this. So that's why, like, for example, if you're really stressed, what's the difference in a male and female is that if a guy comes home really stressed, probably the best thing you can offer him is the blowjob, so he can just stays and feels great. But if you come home stressed and your partner goes to you, hey darling, you seem stressed, you want me to lick your pussy, you're probably gonna slap him because you're not emotionally there. So, and it's also okay. So understanding about the fact that, okay, now it's important to be emotionally, physically, and mentally aroused. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, when people have sex while they're under the influence of alcohol, they just do it because the emotional is not there. So what they do by alcohol, they numb that. So they allow just to happen. The physicality just comes up, and the sex just becomes a physical part, a physical act. And there's no emotions involved because they numb themselves, because that requirement is not there. And for them to be able to go with it, they need to numb that part. So that is something just wanted to make clear.
Amazing, beautiful. Right, shall we move back to the deepening the orgasm?
One thing is because Lynette, I'm not if you explain please in more details what do you mean, because just at the end part about orgasm getting deep, what part that you're not understanding, because that's not very clear. I don't know what to explain. So if you maybe just spend like maybe like in few sentences.
What did she say? Can you read it out loud, please?
Just the end part about the orgasm getting deep.
Oh, so it's this part.
It's not very clear for me what.
So what does it mean when orgasm is getting deep?
So orgasm not getting deep, orgasm getting bigger. So
deepening your orgasms. So this part here.
I'm just gonna be Lena, darling. If you're listening to what I'm saying, can you be quick in your response and say yes? Okay, diagram 7. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so about the diagram 7. So now, when we're talking about the orgasms getting deeper, orgasms not getting deeper, we're talking about the orgasms getting bigger. So, and have you had bigger orgasms and smaller orgasms? Have you had orgasms that some of them were like bigger, some of them were a bit smaller, some of them were like super intense? Yes, no? Okay. So, have you had an orgasm?
See, when she writes down, could you please read out loud the response? Because, you know, we cannot read it.
Cannot say I have.
Right, so this is the theory, really.
Yeah, so she says probably yes when I was younger.
Right.
So this week you have a lot of time to explore your body and explore your orgasms. So what I'm talking about the orgasm is okay. So when you say you're having a clitoral stimulation, so in your self-pleasure ritual this week that you're gonna do, you're gonna spend a lot of time with yourself and basically touch yourself and pleasure yourself. So you realize that when you're being stimulated, because again, the same thing for men, so that's what I can same mechanic. So when you're stimulated, the sexual energy, you can probably feel it that maybe your clitoris and your genital and your sex is going up and 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 up. And then there is a point that you're getting really close, and then there is a release after that. So when this energy builds up, your arousal goes up and up and up here. So there you reach a peak, and from that peak, there is this sexual tension releases, which is the feeling after is a very pleasurable, like contractions of your sex center, which is like waves of pleasure going through your body. So now, when this sexual arousal is going up, this arousal can go up really quickly, and the orgasm can be like, again, as I said, like a little dynamite blowing off. Poof, yeah. Or as you can see in graph 4, this peaking can go in a way that you have more sexual energy. So the more sexual energy means the more dynamite you have, that when eventually bomb goes off or you reach the peak, the explosion is going to be bigger because you have more sexual energy. So you're going, the drop gonna be, or explosion gonna be bigger. So in the next one, as we covered that, so this is not a 2D graph. People think, okay, now I'm from here starting going up, and then I'm gonna reach 100. Poof. So because as I said, we want more sexual energy. So there is another graph on graph 5, there's another axis, which is the depth of sexual energy. So you're going to think about as this going up as a 3D graph, as you can see in graph 6. So for us to have bigger orgasms, or for you to have bigger orgasm, one way, just singular way, is to slowly build the sexual arousal, which was in graph 5 and 3 and 4 in the previous page. So graph 3 is the horizontal axis is time. So when you from graph 3, you spend more time in comparison to in graph 4, you spend more time to build up your sexual arousal. So you have more area, this total sexual energy, that triangular area. So you have more sexual energy to release. So now, in the next page, the depth of sexual energy is another axis that we can increase the sexual energy with different ways, not only time, to add more sexual energy or depth of sexual energy into the body. So when eventually sexual arousal reaches 100, the amount of dynamite that we have is gonna be so much bigger. So as you can see here in graph 6, so when we increasing our sexual energy, as the sexual arousal goes up, the total amount of sexual energy that we have is because it's a 3D graph. It's not 2D. So the entire area of that shape, the pyramid type shape, so the pyramid but like that, the entire of that is the amount of sexual energy that you accumulate in your body. So your release is going to be bigger. And also by using different techniques, as you can see in graph 7, you can increase the amount of sexual energy more and more and more. So the graph 6 and graph 7, the difference is the graph 7, there is another line, that the more purple one, the brighter one. So it goes deeper and deeper in the graph, goes deeper. So which means there are going to be more sexual energy available, that eventually when sexual arousal in graph 7 reaches that peak, here, right here, your release going to be even bigger. Is that clear?
So yeah, just to add to that a little. So this is your arousal, and when you actually arouse yourself and don't release, you accumulate in sexual energy, and then you pick up and you start again. So it builds more on that unreleased energy. Then even when you release, because your energy is already so high, you can carry on and you can build on top of that sexual energy, because at the point where you start deepening your sexual energy, you don't actually release it anymore because there is overflow. So you can actually accumulate so much. Even when you orgasm, you don't release it. You can actually carry on and build more on top of that.
And for us to have bigger orgasm, for you to have a bigger orgasm, it's not about how quickly you can release. It's about how much sexual energy you can accumulate in your body before it releases. The more sexual energy, your orgasm going to be bigger. When eventually you're letting go and reaching the point of no return, and then when you're coming, again, as I said, I'm going to emphasize on that because I want to be really, really clear. Your sexual arousal can reach the peak regardless of how much sexual energy you have accumulated. The quick release, quick build-up, the release is going to be because there's not much sexual energy. But one way is to, again, increasing the time and slowness and allowing more time for the build-up to go up. And there are many different techniques which we want to cover in the next page, that you can, while your sexual arousal is going up, before reach the peak, you can add more sexual body. You can accumulate more as it's going up. You can have more and more, and then eventually, when it goes to 100, your arousal goes down, but your sexual energy not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The sexual energy going to stay in the body by understanding how to move this energy. And then, because you're after the first orgasm, since you're in an orgasmic state, so the sexual arousal goes down a little bit because it releases. But again, as it moves up slowly for the next orgasm, you have time to accumulate more sexual energy. So again, eventually, when you go to the next one, again, you have a lot more dynamite for the explosion. And then next one again keeps going, and you can have whole day explosion. Wow. Lucky women. Okay.
Does this make sense now?
Yeah, she said yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you for explaining that.
Awesome. So yeah, like Sia was saying, all of these three components actually contribute to your sexual arousal and to your depth of your orgasm. Because yeah, when you physically aroused, it doesn't mean that necessarily you want to have sex with this person. And also when you fancy somebody and you enjoy the conversation, it doesn't mean that you're ready to have sex. And it's so important to understand, when all of these three components, emotional, physical, and mental arousal, is present, that this is the recipe for the incredible orgasmic interaction.
Okay, I'm going to add to that, because ultimately orgasm, they call it mini death, because the moment of orgasm is one of the moments that the egolessness takes place. In a philosophical way, and make it more spiritual, using spiritual terms, the egolessness, which the moment that there is no I, the sense of self. If you really meditate over the point of your orgasm, you realize in that moment is like, it's just everything is like, you're not there, completely present, completely the death of, they call it mini death. So for that to take place, you need to be able to feel emotionally and physically and mentally safe. So for a lot of women, the reason they cannot have orgasm is because they're not first of all attracted to the guy physically. Yeah, or they're not emotionally attracted, they're not emotionally connected, they're not emotionally safe, or they're not mentally connected with that person. There is something lacking, so they're not be able to surrender, because ultimately the orgasm, for you to die, you need to let go. And if you only can let go when you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally safe. That is why being able to connect with someone that you have all these three components are the best possible way to have amazing orgasms or amazing lovemaking or amazing sex. And that is why if you're feeling that you're going to get your next amazing orgasm in your one night stand, is again, it can happen, but it's not very likely, because you need to feel really, really safe. So what's the difference between mental and emotional? Okay, so mental arousal is like, they call it sapiosexual. Is that what it is?
Sapio. Yeah.
So the character of a person, when they open the mouth, who the character, the intelligence, they can hold a conversation, or you meet someone and it's like, they might be really loving, like they hold you and it feels good, but as soon as they talk about stuff, or the level of intelligence is like, whoa, or the content of the brain, or the perception about the world, all of that, so like, I don't want to get into politics and all that, for example. I'm find a really girl very emotionally like, well, amazing and beautiful, but then she tells me like she's a Trump supporter. I'm like, no way, sorry, I'm just going to lose my arousal.
Right. Can I just actually say about that? About that. So there was a time when my friend used to date this guy, and he was just so handsome, beautiful body, and like very nice presence and everything. But as soon as he's opening his mouth, I feel like the vomit is coming out. And it's like, I'm like, how somebody so blessed with their looks can be just like, and it's totally judgmental, and I know, but like how somebody so gorgeous can be so dumb. Like, and it's like, no offense, but like everything with what he was saying was not making sense to me, you know. And so so in this, like in this example, it's like the physical arousal was there because he was very handsome and it's like very beautiful appearance. But as soon as he would start talking, the mental aspect of our connection was non-existent. Then emotional, because my our mental was non-existent, our emotional arousal was really not there either. Yeah.
Can we go to the next page? And I'm just worried about the time.
Beautiful. So here's increasing your sexual energy.
Deep breath. There's a lot of information. One more deep breath. All right.
Beautiful.
So, increasing sexual energy. So now this is the part that we're going to cover different ways that we can add more sexual energy, or in the graph to increase the depth of sexual energy. So when eventually we reach an orgasm, the release is going to be super huge.
Mm-hmm.
The most, I think one of the most, again, there are many different ways to do this, but the most important one is breath, sound, and movement. When we breathe, when we make sound, we move our body, we allow the energy to move. And this is something that can happen when you feel anger, when you feel joy. You see, when you're excited, you're like, because you move, shake, and like, But have you noticed if you are excited and you'll be like, that excitement just cannot move, you know? Or when you're angry, it's like, no, but it's like, You're just moving this energy up and out. And then sexual energy is the same thing. It's an energy that instead of being localized in the body or genitals, getting trapped there and not having, so if it's trapped, you can add more sexual energy. You know, think about it, the container is like tight. So, and like the pressure cooker, when the pressure was like, reaches the 100, release. But you want this to be, to move and rise up slowly. The arousal rise up slowly as the sexual energy increases. So the more you breathe as you're being stimulated by yourself or by someone else, the more you make sound, the more you move your body, your sexual experience, regardless of your orgasm or not, going to be so much different. However, a lot of people unfortunately think about only porn stars make sound, or only porn stars move their body like that. So I just need to lie down here, starfish syndrome, that a lot of women are unfortunately suffering from it, that just lie there quiet, I shouldn't do anything, I should not make a sound, or like just stay there, which is completely against the nature of your body to experience pleasure. So be out there, make sound, breathe, and move. So the more you do this, the more sexual energy is going to move into your body all around. And if you reach an orgasm, or when you reach an orgasm, which again, orgasm is not the goal of lovemaking. That's the thing. You forget about that. And the more you forget about it, the more it's going to happen, the paradox. So You want to really, 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 really just breathe, make sound, and with the sound, make sound the way that is natural to you. Don't copy that porn star. Don't do it in a way that we just ah ah. But and all you sound and breathe, the more present you become in your body, and the awareness is super, super, duper, uber important. You know, to understand about like this being present in your body, and then you get stuck in your head. Am I gonna come? Am I not gonna come? Am I taking too much time? What am I gonna do for dinner? I'm gonna miss my flight or this and that. Just get into your head. So breathe, sound, breathe, sound, breathe, sound. Your awareness slowly from the head goes in the body, and the more in the body, the more energy moves, and the more energy moves, and eventually when you reach the peak, the orgasm is going to be slow. So that's one thing. And then remove energy blocks, or removing opening the body. Again, that's this one thing the body work that I do, which helps a lot with unlocking the energy blockages and move in the body. So that's one thing. And stronger PC muscles. Did you want to go for that?
Sure. So actually, I just wanted to add something to breath, sound, and movement. So breathing, making movement, and making sound, for sure, it's really, really important. But also when you're doing it in flow. So if you feel that you don't want to move at this moment, don't move. Yes. But if you feel that you do want to move, and you stop in yourself, that this is where you just like get in a habit of moving yourself. Also, because for us, for women, our like very often our throat chakra is blocked very often, because we are not expressing ourselves. We're not expressing what we want, and we are not expressing our desires. We're not saying no, as you ladies know from the exercise that we have been doing. And so when it actually stops our voice in expressing ourselves. So when you breathe and you just allow the air come out with your breath, you know, you are releasing this energy, and then you will feel the energy moves in your body. Then you can move it. So you don't have to actually stop yourself from moving and making sound and experience, if you feel like this is what you want to do. Also, if you feel like you want to just relax and stay there, just come, that's absolutely fine too, unless you are stopping yourself. If you're stopping yourself, you're stopping your pleasure. And the stronger PC muscles. So Kegel exercise and yoni contractions. We actually, me and Sivi was talking about it, and we was talking for exactly the same thing, that, you know, when you squeeze your yoni, when you, like, for example, when you go for a pee, and when you really, really want to pee, and you just stop that muscle in your urethra. So you just like close that, so you can actually feel that muscle expands, and you can probably do it right now. So when you start doing like contract that yoni muscle, then you actually will start noticing how connected to your yoni you are. And basically, when I was 18 years old, there was one woman, I was working in a casino at the time, and there's one cleaner, and she said to me, I don't even know why she said that to me. She said, Eugenia, you know, to have an amazing sex, you have to exercise your pussy. People go to gym to exercise their muscles, but your pussy is exactly the muscle also. So to have an amazing sex, and she was like in her 60s or something like that, and she was like teaching me about sex, and she's like, to have an amazing sex now, you know, I still have an amazing sex. And to do that, I exercise my yoni, my pussy. So just keep on doing that, and it just stuck with me forever. And now everything that happens, just please type in the comment box if that makes sense. What is Kegel exercise and yoni contractions? So it's like literally you can sit anywhere, in an office, in a meeting, and you can just squeeze your pussy. And by doing that, you actually connect with your pussy. You connect to your wisdom. Mm. And then the next one is yoni egg. Yoni eggs are very, very powerful, and also they help you to actually hold the egg inside. So again, it's like exercising the muscle that holds the egg inside, but also because of the stones, like I have got pink opal, not pink opal, rose quartz. Yeah, rose quartz. So that you can choose actually the one is more much better for you and what you are looking to have more of, and select your stone based on that. So actually with yoni eggs, the smaller they are, the more challenging it is to keep them in, just because the bigger the egg, it's easier for your muscles to hold them in. And the smaller they are, it's actually easier for them to slip out. So you have to be very, very good at squeezing your PC muscles. Do you have anything to add to that?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Actually, ladies, please just say yes or no if this makes sense. What Kegel exercise and yoni contractions are about the yoni eggs. See, is there any reply?
I would say if because people engagement are different. Any part that you don't get it, please say I didn't understand, instead of just asking each part. So we want to keep going, and we're going to give the responsibility, and if anything's not clear, ask us. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now there are 3 techniques that is also a great way to add a lot of sexual energy, which is actually really fun to do. And the first one is edging. Edging is basically, you can apply it to yourself and you can apply it to your lover, whether male or female. They all works amazingly. And how it works is the stimulation takes place right before the point of no return. That after that, let's say maybe like 2 seconds of stimulation can lead to an orgasm. Right before that, you stop the stimulation. So what happens? The arousal is going up, and as it's going up, of course, the sexual energy is building up. But right before you get there, you stop, because the body, you're getting really close to the orgasm, but it's not really. When it goes down a little bit, a lot of sexual energy moves in. And when you do the edging, you need to breathe. So say you're lying down and your partner is licking your clitoris, and you're just getting closer and closer, like, about to come. And then he or she stops, and then you're about to have an orgasm, but it's not happening. But that energy is already built up, so you want to breathe and make sound, and then you can tell the person to carry on, and then keeps going. He keeps going, and it builds up, and then again, right before you explode, stop, and then breathe, sound, and then again and again. So it keeps going, and the next one, eventually, when you reach the orgasm, it's gonna be like super huge. The next one, the slow build up, is again, instead of running to the finish line, you want, when we talk about the time for the arousal, we're talking about the whole spectrum of lovemaking. That can be like slow, a lot of teasing, a lot of like kissing, a lot of licking and all that. But the slow build up, I'm talking more about like a direct stimulation of the, say, clitoris or A spot or deep spot. So with clitoris, it's more understandable because it's more clear. So say instead of just like going really fast for the peak.
Oh, hello.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you just froze there for a moment.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the slow build up is like you, instead of running for the finish line quickly, you very slowly building up this energy, which also works really well for your for a male partner. So if he's like hard and you just want to go like really like going crazy, you're gonna come so quick. So then slowly, even staying away from the most sensitive part, or even for yourself, if you're just focusing on the clitoris and then moving away from the clitoris a little bit, moving around like the lips, and then come back to bring the focus back on the clitoris. So you're just going back and forth, and then slowly you bring this arousal up, and then you're going it back down, and you allow the sexual energy to build up, and you go up. So you're being playful instead of, okay, let's get this orgasm done. And the last one, a drop release, which is, I think, one of the techniques that I've invented. I'm gonna patent it for myself. So what is happening is actually I didn't create it, and one of my lover, she told me about this, which I took credit for it. So the drop release is, you are, this is again the clitoris. You're stimulating the clitoris, and then it's going up, and you're doing it with the same speed. But as you get closer, you slow down the stimulation. Maybe not necessarily the pressure. You can also lower the pressure, but you just slow down. So say you're going with like, say, this speed, or there's a penetration, you're going with this speed, yeah, and then you slow down. The rhythm slows down. So instead of going, so the pressure builds. So when you go like, the rhythm goes like boom, boom, boom. So in between, boom, boom. The stimulation is still there, but this creates a lot of space. When it moves back, that few, like 1 second, allows this energy to like moves, and then boom, and it goes up, and then you let it sink, and then boom, it's about to sink, boom, and then when eventually, and then at the same time, then you can go fast again, and then getting close, and then boom, slow down, boom, boom, allow this to just move, and you can go fast again, and then you can do edging. So you can do all of these. So it's a combination. It's not only, you can experiment with all of that, and then you go fast, and then you slow down. Boom. But with edging, we completely stop. But with slow release, you're still going. And then with the slow release, when you reach an orgasm with that, it can be super huge.
Beautiful, beautiful. Right. So this brings us to our home assignment for your ladies' final week. And the first home assignment is to self-pleasure. Loads and loads and loads and loads of self-pleasure. Because nobody better than you know your pleasure. And this is what you need to get really familiar with. You have to master your pleasure before you can actually communicate that to other people, communicate that to your lovers. So really get to know yourself. And you know, you've been asking a lot about the depth of your orgasms. Just really explore the depth of your orgasms. Yeah. Familiarize yourself with the point of no return. So again, point of no return, just to bring this back here. The point of no return is just here. So just familiarize yourself. What is your sensation before you reach the point of no return? How do you feel in your body? How does your body feels? It's like, and this is again, this is your edging right here, right? So your edging is just below this mark here. So practice it, and just see what happens when you do more of that. Just see what happens. How does your body react when you just before the point of no return? What happens for you? How does your body feel? Do you have more of sexual energy? Do you have more of arousal? Just notice, observe yourself.
And with the self-pleasure, I invite you to do like self-pleasure like a ritual, and don't just go home and like I'm just gonna have a quickie. I invite you not to do that. So really like take yourself on a date. So maybe put some candles on, find like an hour at least, and then put some music, make the ambiance of the room a bit sexy and cozy. Yeah? You are making love to yourself. And imagine you're going to your Prince Charming has come and taking you on a sex journey, and you're your own Prince Charming now. And then really like set your intention for that. And my intention is to have a lot of pleasure. I want to explore myself. Set your intention, lie down in a comfortable position, and just like really slowly just get into your body. If you want to use visualization, use visualization. I wouldn't suggest to watch pornography if you do, but you really like feel your body and then touch, see how everything feels. And then when you do it in your touch, use toys, use vibrators, use whatever you want. This is your body, this is your yoni, your fingers, do whatever you want. You have your own consent. But just do it consciously. Don't do it just like, I'm just gonna finger myself so I can calm.
Bash one out.
Yeah, shoot one out. I want to explore my body. I want to see what I like. I want to really own my own sexuality. I want to really do it unashamedly.
Yeah.
Really, really unashamedly, you want to do it. And then and then see familiar yourself with the point of return, with the point of orgasm, with the sensations, with likes, dislikes, and I'm going to talk about the 4 now, and then we talk about the 3, and then incorporate all the techniques: the slow drop, the edging, breathe, sound, movement. See how can you make yourself close to orgasm, and then breathe, make sound, move your body, and then allow it to go away, and then like touch yourself again, bring it closer, and it's like, and then play with it. You know, be a explorer of your own pleasure now.
Beautiful. And so also spend 3 times a day to do a Kegel exercise, like actually connect with your yoni, squeeze your yoni, really like contract it, just feel it, you know, and you will like, oh, I'm just doing this now. What happens when I'm doing it? I just connect, like I have the goosebumps all over my body. So I know that I am in connection, you know, she responds to me whenever I connect to her. So do that at least 3 times a day for 5 minutes. You can do it absolutely anywhere and absolutely at all times. And yeah, just see what's going to happen. Just see what's going to change for you. Right. So this is your home assignment. Is that, ladies, clear for you? Okay. Oh, wow. So here's lots of messages. Of course. Beautiful. So, ladies, as it is the final session of our Orgasmic Queen Level 1, as you know, we have mentioned that we have Level 2 coming up also. And would you like us to tell you a little bit more about the Orgasmic Queen Level 2? Because we have created some really, really juicy content and actually thinking what would be so important and useful to our audience. And actually we have worked with so many women from all over the world that actually we could detect like the things that are very similar in what women would like to learn about, what needs to be released from the body in order to experience our sexuality in even deeper level. So if you would like us to tell you a bit more about level 2, please type yes, because we have a very special offer for you here. Okay. And if you're not, then say no. That's fine too. Oh, Michelle said the sound went. So what I said was, if you would like us to tell you a little bit more about the Orgasmic Queen Level 2 that will be taking place on 28th of April, which is in 2 weeks, just type in yes, so we can actually share that with you, because we are very, very passionate about creating this experience for women. So Lynette says
level
yes.
2, you actually say yes. The level 2 is going again, because level 1 was more the foundation. The level 2 again and goes still on a because all of these are foundations, I would say. They all are necessary for us to expand our sexuality and to go deeper into our practice of sexuality. And our work is about bringing sacred sexuality into our lives. We want to add the quality of sacredness to it. And the sacredness is when we unashamedly, first of all, own our experience. So when there is something is not holy, it's considered dirty. And one of the main things of feeling dirty is when we are ashamed. So one of the main focuses of our level 2, one of the weeks, is about shame. Understanding about our shame of the body, shame of our sexuality, shame of our vaginas, our penises, and everything that comes with sex.
Yeah.
That how we have so difficult time to be accepting of our sexuality, or being sexually active, and putting all these shows up, and not being able to be vulnerable with our sexuality. So it's a little bit deeper what we're gonna cover. It's very fundamental.
Yeah.
A little bit deeper, so we have a lot of rituals for that. And then we also having male sexual anatomy. So we thought it is time to give some understanding about males' bodies, even for our audience that they're just with women. Also understanding about men, I think, is very important. So that's one thing that we are adding to our course. The other one is understanding about femininity and masculinity.
Oh my gosh, this is one of the most, I think, important things that actually all women are raving about. It's understanding masculine and feminine energies, and not only masculine and feminine, but knowing the toxic masculine and feminine, knowing how to get into your healthy feminine and masculine, because this is so important. You know, very often what happens that we as women, and I see this so often by working with women, like we just get into our masculine, but also unhealthy masculine, where we just get, you know, from like doing everything, where it's like completely codependent, becoming completely codependent on this man, you know. It's like hold him as like you know, provider of this happiness, you know, a source of joy, where actually it's so much pressure for him to give all of this joy that it's like on his shoulders, where he knows that it's like, oh my God, he's going through his own like shit, most likely, you know, and it's like, how can I hold this all? And it's like actually where you can become your own source of your own desire, of your own light and your own pleasure, and he can complement that for you. So basically really understanding your masculine, your feminine, how you can balance it out, how you can create the healthy relationship with yourself, so that you can create a healthy relationship with the lover that you're with.
And last week we were talking about the sexual, just the energetics, mode of energetics. So understanding really how to move the energy in our bodies, energy orgasms, and the mysterious worlds of energies. This is where it's very juicy, and that's we're gonna do have a lot of like understanding about like meditations that would allow to move energy, and exploring that that a lot of Taoist practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Circular breathing, circular a lot of stuff like that. So we're gonna
absolutely, we're gonna teach you how to cultivate orgasmic energy in your body, so that you actually don't even have to rely on self-pleasure. Yeah. So ladies, actually what we have done is, knowing that today is the final day of our Orgasmic Queen level 1, we have got a special super early bird prices for the next the level 2, and it is $247. And the special offer finishes tomorrow, so you actually have time to feel into it, and we would absolutely love to have you on this journey and carry on this journey, because you have been so incredible. You showed up, you learned about yourself, about your sexuality, and we just thought it's like, why to stop here if there is so much more that to learn for you, and also it is so much more to experience. And this again, it will be 4-week course. We're going to be meeting from 28th of April every Sunday, just like now, and again it will be recorded, so you will have all the course materials sent to you. You will have a Facebook group to support you, and you will have us here answering your questions and actually going deeper into those topics, as we're going to be releasing shame, we're going to be learning about masculine and feminine energies, we're going to be learning about orgasmic energy, and of course you're going to learn about male sexual anatomy, so that you actually familiar not only with your own, but you can relate how does this creature's man work. And we actually, because we do like think that we do come from different planets, you know, and it is kind of important to learn about each other. It is important to know how does men operate, because we actually in sexuality we approach our partner the same way that we would like to be touched, but what is essentially sometimes it doesn't work that way. You know, it is so important to actually know what he likes, what he experiences in his body, and how does his body operate, as well as get it right from the source, and very handsome source right here. Yeah. So ladies, yeah. Yeah, so ladies, we would absolutely love to have you continue this journey with us, because this is like a mind-blowing experience for us, and we want to share it with you. So please join us. We would absolutely.
I don't think we have any level 3 anymore, not at least not yet. So we have level 1 and we have level 2, and then we going to do a survey of people who've done level 1 and 2, and what other topics they would like us to cover, and then we move towards that. And then we're gonna actually have, if anybody here in a couple relationship, we will have some like couples in the future. But for now, we're just having this level 1 and 2, and then retreat's gonna be maybe towards the end of this year.
Yeah, we're talking about the retreat. Yeah, that's right. It's not for sure yet, but we're gonna keep you updated about that. And
for the Orgasmic Queen, we have the level 1 and 2 at this stage, because the most fundamental things that we thought people or women or women need to understand. Women need to understand, and it's very, very beautiful thing. So
yes, absolutely. Actually, let me share the link. You can get the tickets right here, and I will email you the links into your inboxes together with the recording of this final session. And yeah, like the tickets right now are $247 until tomorrow. Tomorrow is the final day when the tickets are $247. Then the price goes up to $300. So please, 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 if you are thinking that you are going to join us, get the tickets today, or tomorrow is the final day. And yeah, join us. We would absolutely love to have you with us.
One thing that I would like to ask you ladies, please give us feedback. Please share your testimonials. If you want to write it for us, please, if that would be amazing, because something we started and we want to carry on. Our mission is not limited to this. Our mission is to actually change the world. So we really need your support and your honest feedback, so we know how to make things better. Then if it's good feedback, amazing. If it's corrective feedback, that's even better. So just please, maybe in a Facebook group, or message us in a group, just share what you feel, so we can tell others that you attended our course and you felt good, or this, and we need to work on this, so more people can benefit from this. If you really benefited from it. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, please send us your feedback. If you can do a video testimonial, that would be incredible. That would be just so helpful. If you can do a written testimonial, that is just so helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so Lynette says, thanks, I will check it out. Would like to continue this sex education. Amazing, Lynette. We would absolutely love to have you on board. Absolutely would love to have you on board. So yeah, this is, I feel, has been a beautiful journey. The 4 weeks just flew by so quickly. So I want to thank you for joining us on live sessions. I want to thank you for joining us in recordings. I want to thank you for being here and taking the stand to discovering more of yourself. Because this is like our fundamental part, our sexuality, that is so important. It is our connection to our body, mind, and spirit that is essentially makes us human. So good on you. I want to congratulate you for taking the steps towards learning more about yourself, discovering your pleasure, and how to have more of it. Because this is important. To have more pleasure is so important. And Sid, do you have anything that you would like to say?
Thank you all for being part of this journey, for looking after yourself and taking steps to evolve as a sexual being against all the odds, and having the courage to attend this, and really taking ownership for your sexuality and for your pleasure and your growth. I really admire that. And with that being said, I think this is a very good point to bring this course to a Vanessa, can I believe 4 weeks? we get a certificate.
You get the love. I think your life is and how do you interact with people and how you are connected to yourself is your certificate.
And with that being said, I would love to bring this session to a closure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Eugenia. Amazing human being. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Share your experience with us, and hopefully see you in 2 weeks' time at level 2.
Yes. Actually, this week coming, we're gonna do a Q&A in the Facebook group.
Okay.
So please keep your eyes peeled. We will make an announcement for that. We're gonna give you a couple days notice so that you can be on and we can all connect. Right. Okay. And this is such a beautiful spot for us to complete our call today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with us on a live session, on a recording. We're sending you lots of love. Look after yourself. Love yourself. You got you. The whole world is your oyster. Bye for now.